Today on Supper with Sylvia, I'm sitting down with someone who has quite literally changed the way the world responds to hunger. Chef José Andrés, the force behind World Central Kitchen.
What I realized is that if we were able to bring the power of the food industry in these moments of emergency, we could be unstoppable. And at the very least, we could guarantee that food and water will not be one of the issues that people are going through.
We talk about how WCK started, how it's grown into this incredible movement that's already fed millions, and his bold goal to serve 1 million meals a day in Gaza.
We are already doing around 800,000 a day.
He shares where all his endless energy comes from, what keeps him going, and why he believes food is one of the fastest ways to bring hope to people who need it the most. And then we have some fun talking about his new Spanish food line at MARIANO'S.
It's created for you to enjoy croquetas at your home, fresh. You looking like the king or the queen of the household.
If you've ever thought, there's no way I can make paella or Spanish croquetas at home, Jose is here to prove you are wrong. He's proud to say, now you can. It's inspiring, it's passionate, and it's such a fun conversation. It will leave you saying, wow, if he can do all of that and so much more, what can I do to help others?
At MARIANO'S, we love how every product has a story, and some of the best stories come from right here in Chicago.
That's why we started We Love Local. It's our way of shining a light on small businesses and farmers and food makers who pour their hearts into what they do.
When you see a local item on our shelves, you know you're supporting someone's dream and keeping our community strong.
From family recipes passed down for generations to brand new ideas born in neighborhood kitchens, We Love Local brings those stories to your table. Because when local thrives, we all do.
MARIANO'S is a proud sponsor of the Supper with Sylvia podcast.
Jose Andrés, good to see you. Are you dressed for the holidays? What's going on?
I am dressed for the holidays. Just eat it up.
Thank you so much for doing this. We are so excited to have you. I know that you were in Chicago recently promoting all of your fabulous MARIANO'S products. So we're happy to talk to you about that and so much more. How are you doing, first of all?
Super happy to be with you, Sylvia Perez. Do we do this in Spanish or in English?
Oh, we're doing this in English. I'm a first generation straight from the island Puerto Rico, both of my parents. So the youngest
we're gonna dance salsa, you and I.
I know, and I love it. You actually used to work in Puerto Rico, so right?
I love Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. Yes, I was there working during I think a couple of months back in 1992, It was amazing. I had the best time of my life. And I've been back to Puerto Rico so many. Puerto Rico has the perfect spirit of America, obviously of the Caribbean, the Boricuas, and obviously the touches of Spain. I mean, Puerto Rico for me is like, it's home away from home.
Yeah, I love that. And we're going to talk about that because I know you've gone there for hurricane relief efforts as well. But this is what I want to start with. I follow you on Instagram, World Central Kitchen. You recently were in the Caribbean, right? Dealing with relief efforts for Jamaica and other areas hit by Hurricane Melissa. What's the situation like right now there?
Well, World Central Kitchen teams are still in Jamaica. They are in many other places around the world, but Melissa was a very, very bad hurricane. Very slow. When the hurricane moves very slow and it's category 5, creates so much more damage. Very often in the old days, some hurricanes move very quickly. This is still a lot of damage. But when the hurricanes like Melissa move so slow, the damage intensifies, right? So many people obviously lost their homes, sometimes even more than the roof. The whole home blow away. Electricity is down. The roads are badly impacted. The seaport, entire hotels, that has a negative impact in the tourism industry. But the good news, in the worst moments of humanity, always the best of humanity shows up. We landed there before the hurricane arrived, like always we do. I personally landed there right the day after. We do what we do. We began showing up in the communities. by road, by helicopter. We had more than 6, 7 helicopters in Jamaica because it was the only way to access people. And
Wow.
you began solving one problem at a time. More NGOs, other, the government, local NGOs. We partnered with local. We began doing Jamaican parties. We began doing your chicken. We began hiring and partnering on restaurants. We began opening our own kitchens. And before you know, we are doing almost, 150, 160, 200,000 meals a day.
That's amazing.
And that's what we do. And it's been a joy working with Jamaicans. My daughter actually joined me there, so I was very happy. I only stayed there like, I think, 10 days. My daughter stayed there like 6, 7 weeks. And now still things are not easy, but at least every day gets a little bit better. Every day gets a little bit better. And then people can start concentrating on reconstruction and hopefully, look at the future with hope. So,
Well, I have to say, as we're talking about World Central Kitchen, I understand 109 million meals were served in 2024 alone, and I'm sure those numbers have gone up. You've been doing this for such a long time. I've enjoyed reading this book, by the way. Good job on this. And there's
change the recipe.
Yes, and let's talk about that. Change the recipe, because there was something in here that I thought was so interesting. Can I read this to you?
Yeah.
And you know your own book, but I still want to read this to you. You said you sat and watched as the hurricane took over New Orleans, and you say I couldn't understand why there wasn't a big organization of chefs to do this work. When there's a fire, you send firefighters. When there's an earthquake, you send search and rescue teams. When there's an explosion, you send doctors and nurses. So when there are hungry people, why wouldn't you send chefs? And this was with Katrina in the United States of America. Is this really where World Central Kitchen kind of came about, this idea?
Kind of the idea, yes. I want to say that was chefs in Louisiana and chefs in New Orleans, that they opened their kitchens, the ones that could, in downtown New Orleans, to start serving people. So was not lack of people trying to help. But sometimes the help needs to be much more massive and much more organized, and needs to last not only days and weeks, but months.
Yeah.
But I want to say that actually what I saw was that those chefs doing it, or people opening their backyard barbecue and doing hot dogs as people were living low 9 and the mayhem of so many parts underwater in New Orleans. So that empathy is there. That willingness to give dignity through helping people is there. What I realized is that if we were able to bring the power of the food industry in these moments of emergency, we could be unstoppable. And at the very least, we could guarantee that food and water will not be one of the issues that people are going through, especially in the early weeks after a catastrophe like Katrina. What made me think really is like the Superdome, we forgot everybody. Forget all New Orleans, only the Superdome, 10, 20,000 Americans. You know, an arena is a gigantic restaurant that entertains with sports and music. Every arena, every stadium is full of food stalls. Anybody could open some of them, bring some hot dogs, bring some burgers, and you start feeding people immediately. This is what World Central Kitchen became. Can we use the food industry, the chefs, the restaurant owners, the farmers, the people that own the food production, the food delivery, and bring everybody together to say, how do we adapt to this situation? Because every situation is different. Every plan, you may have a plan. The plan is, let's feed everybody. But cannot be deeper than this, because if you plan too much, you cannot apply the same response to every situation. Therefore, what we did was, the plan is feed everybody. But the answer to how to feed everybody will change dramatically from situation to situation. A volcano is different than an earthquake. It's not two volcanoes equal, and it's not two earthquakes equal. And floodings, tornadoes, or hurricanes, or war everyone also requires, depends where you are in the world, a different response. So very much that what World Central Kitchen became.
Well, you guys are amazing. I saw you've got this campaign for 1 million meals for Gaza, which just blows my mind. I love that you're
1 million meals a day.
a day, which is even crazier.
We are already doing around 800,000 a day.
Wow. How is that possible? You have learned through all of these disasters. You say we need to have been there yesterday, and you guys are making this happen. You've learned so much from all of this, and you've just gotten better at it.
Well, we it's not, as we say, is the people feeding people. In Gaza, we opened a new kitchen in the north. So we have 6 major kitchens of World Central Kitchen, probably doing close to 500,000 meals a day. And then we have other 80, 90 partner kitchens, smaller, that we support with know-how, with food, with fuel, with kitchens, with pots, with pans, with knives. And we make them stronger. So 6 of them, they're the bigger ones, the ones we run day to day. And the others are kitchens from different organizations that they want to do the cooking, and we help them increase the amount of meals they do. We help them with pots, again, we help them with food, with money, whatever. And this way we're able to do a much bigger response. That's how we are able to dream that we can be reaching 1 million meals a day, which will be 50% very much of the Gaza population, but creating the feeding system that not only serves the needs of today, but hopefully into the reconstruction of Gaza in the years to come.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We are in Ukraine, obviously. We are in 11, 12 emergency feeding missions right now around the world.
Well, it is impressive. And, before you were World Central Kitchen, you were known as the guy who really brought Spanish food to help make a huge dent in what we know about Spanish food in the United States. So you have got to be thrilled with this new food line. You've added on to this food line. You're now at our local Mariano's here in Chicago, and you have paella. You've got your olive oil. And can I ask you why you're wearing that hat? Is that
I don't know. We have a lot of things going on in the world, and it's okay sometimes to be used like Elmo, like simple.
I love it.
Simple, happy Elmo that sees the world in a happy, normal way. So yeah.
I love it. You're
I gotta
bringing
take it
a
off.
smile to my face. No, I want you to leave it on. You're bringing a smile to my face.
I'll put it after when we cook.
Okay, let's talk about the food. Tell everybody, what do you want them to know about this food line and why you're doing it?
So I have here a good friend, Tom Carlos. He's from Spain, one of the best chefs in the history of Spain. We're brothers. He's working with me. I'm working with him. And he used to be 2-star Michelin in Spain. He was working in this amazing restaurant. And then one day, Jose, I'm going to join you in America. I want to, my daughters or my family experience America. Like, I need you. So he has come here already for 3 years. And so anyway, I have Spain is in the house.
Yay, Spain.
So, listen to me. We are stories. Tell me what you eat and I'll tell you who you are. A lot of people credit me of bringing tapas to America 33 years ago. Not true. Spanish cooking was here way before. Spain has been in America since 1492. So with permission of the Native Americans and everybody else, and especially English and Vikings, Vikings came probably before us, but it's not much Viking cooking. Well, some in Minnesota. But we came before the French, we came before the English. Spanish food has been here almost, I will argue, 500 years in one way or another, period. First Thanksgiving with the Spanish people in Florida. I mean, whatever happened whatever happened Massachusetts or the northern states, that happened almost 100 years later. It was any Thanksgiving with the Native Americans, it was with the Spaniards, period. So I'm only saying this because it's important to understand Spain had a very important role in the Civil War next to Spain had a very important role in the independence war against the British. In Florida, for self-interest probably, but Spain was next to George Washington, right there in the early days before America became America. It's a lot of stories in Spain. Malaga is cathedrals that don't have a tower because they use the money to build that tower to help George Washington. So I'm very proud of all these stories and so many more that probably even America doesn't know. But what I know is that is many dishes that they've been part of America, like, jambalaya. Spain had its influence of white jambalaya in Louisiana. We spoke before. Spain loves rice dishes, and we know we had our influence bringing pigs to America. We know we had our influence. So for me, I always look for connections that unite the country I came from, Spain, and the country I belong now, America. I'm an immigrant. I build bridges between Spain and America, between Europe and the world, and America and the world at the same time. So the way to express myself is through my food. And I can only reach so many people through my TV show. You reach a lot of people, but they cannot eat as I cook in real time through TV. Through my restaurants, I can influence people, obviously. But how can I reach even more people? What if I show up not only through TV, but with Spanish products I love in the homes of everybody? And supermarkets and beloved supermarket chains are the way to do that. And one way, obviously, is this partnership and this love that MARIANO'S had with me and my products. They say, hey, we want our MARIANO'S to be your home to achieve your dream. So the entire team of MARIANO'S came to Spain and traveled through Spain and visit many of the products. I've been working on this for a long time, and slowly we keep going up. But just to have somebody like MARIANO'S in the Chicago and beyond area supporting for me, like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And here we are. I'm going to move the phone.
Okay.
I'm going to go slowly to don't give a headache to all. So here I'm doing tortilla española.
Oh, yum.
And listen, to make tortilla española is amazing. Everybody can make it. But yeah, you have to go shopping for eggs and onions and tomatoes. And then you have to come home and you need to peel the potatoes and you need to chop the potatoes and you need to put them in water and then you need to dry them and then you need to have a big pot of oil and you need to fry them and then you need to peel the onion and you need to cry with the onion. Then you need to chop the onion and then you need to put it on the oil with the potatoes and the onion and say, hey, how are you? Hey, I'm happy. Hey. Then you need to crack the eggs and you need to whip the eggs. Then you need to clean all the mess you did right before. Then you have to do the pan and then you have to do the tortilla.
Look at that.
Okay. Or you go to MARIANO'S or any store near you, but now it's MARIANO'S, and you get this amazing tortilla de patatas by José Andrés. This was created by a very good friend of mine. He's a chef called Senen. And obviously, he wanted to open other markets. He's producing the best tortilla. I partnered with him, but he's done, quite frankly, the work. And this tortilla comes frozen. You can use it in the oven, or you can do it like I show you with a traditional pan. And here, my friend, you have
nice
tortilla española right from Spain through MARIANO'S into your kitchen and into your pan.
I love that.
Don't tell me. And the amazing thing is that this is the real thing. It's a lot of places and restaurants that sometimes will not do a better tortilla.
This is a great place to take a break, and we'll be right back. If you're enjoying Supper with Sylvia, please like and share with family and friends, and also leave a comment. We love and need your support. Thanks for listening to Supper with Sylvia.
So, hey, let's do the paella. So this is one of the products.
Oh, the paella. Yes, let's talk about that.
Let me see. So listen, what you see here is the stock. The stock is everything. The stock is made in Spain. Oh. And the stock is made in the traditional ways. And the stock, I'm going to move. Yeah, this is live, people. This is live. And here is what we call the vegetable paella.
Okay.
And comes in a big can. Is the broth, but the broth has been made traditionally in Spain to get the flavor with a lot of vegetables and unused vegetables, but that they are amazing. Like it was a traditional broth. The broth is very much everything. And here I use some of the vegetables I had home. I didn't even go shopping, especially for you. I had
Wow.
cabbage, I had carrots, and I had mushrooms. In Valencia, probably if they see me right now, they're gonna be very upset at me because you will argue this is not traditional by the book.
Okay.
Even the vegetable paella is one that allows you to use your favorite vegetables and make a great paella. And so here we put the entire can, which is 1 quart, is concentrated. So because we reduce it, so 1 more quart of water. The vegetables are there, and in this moment, we are adding 2 cups.
Wow.
And in this moment, we're gonna turn it. We're gonna make sure the rice mingles. And in 15 minutes, without no much touching, only regulating the fire, boiling heavy at the beginning, and then you bring it down. In 15 minutes, we'll have a great vegetable paella.
Which is amazing because for most people, paella is an intimidating dish. Like they think, oh, I can't make it. And now you're making it easy for us to bring it at home. But you also have the cheesecake. You've got some empanadas. You've got
And we got the
everything.
other paella. We got this one, El Paella. So
Okay.
El Paella, they are very good friends of mine, are the guys. So I don't need to reinvent. I'm partnering with some of the best small producers in Spain. Obviously, I develop with them a little bit further to what I believe is the best way to succeed in America. But, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm actually, again, empowering the people in Spain to be able to have access to American markets and the American households, using the amazing opportunity, this window into every American household through MARIANO'S, and then giving you the products that you can bring a piece of Spain into your home.
I love
So
that.
we have other products, like for example, don't tell me that everybody doesn't love croquetas.
Oh, yes. Croquetas. I love that at your restaurant here in Chicago, Bazaar Meats.
So croquetas, look at it. They come from, you can do it in your dry fryer, or you can go into the oven.
Oh,
We create, in Spain, they will not be happy with me because croquetas you always fry.
okay.
Would try those. But I know that frying at home can be intimidating. So we created a croqueta that you can roast it in the oven, roast it in the dry fryer, or fry it traditionally, like my mom used to do all my life.
I love
And
that.
at the end, hey, I'm not doing bad as a cameraman, huh?
No, you're good. You're very good. You've done this before.
And at the end, here you have the croqueta
Delicious.
that you open. And this is croquetas without you having to boil the chicken, clean the chicken, chop the chicken, peel the onion, chop the onion, butter, oil, cook the onion, add flour, add milk, add the salt, then add the chicken.
You're making it
Then you
easy.
have to wait until it gets cold. Then you have to roll in little balls with flour, egg, breadcrumbs. Then you have to fry it. Oh my God. Here,
It looks amazing.
you go directly from your freezer. You take them out of the freezer. If it goes into the oven, can goes from the freezer into the oven. The instructions are very easy to follow. Or you can have them a little bit already out of the freezer and you can fry them, or you can put them in the dry fryer. Anyway, it's created for you to enjoy croquetas at your home, fresh. You looking like the king or the queen of the household and making your life easy and bringing. I grew up with croquetas. This is very important to me. I have with children in Spain, and now I know that croquetas are becoming also very part of Spain. I know they're a very important part of Puerto Rico.
Yes, yes. Okay, well, you're making me hungry, and I'm told I don't have a heck of a lot of time with you, Jose.
Look at it.
Oh, look at the empanada. Here we go.
Technically, we did it that way, but technically this will be the diminutive, empanadillas.
Okay.
Empanada is when it's the big pie, the big one. Empanadilla is, and usually is roasted in the oven. The empanadilla usually is fried. Here, what we did was, we did the small one that usually is fried, but we put it on the oven too, like the croquetas. And now, take a look what we have.
Let me see what you got.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh, that's
dun,
beautiful.
dun, dun, dun.
Wow.
And we have empanadilla de atún and empanada de cerdo, pork, ibérico, and tuna empanadas. And this is what you get, my friend.
It looks delicious.
Oh my God.
Okay, for those who can't see, Jose basically has made all of this for us in his kitchen, and he's cooking these from the products that we can now buy at Mariano's. Jose, I have to ask you, look at that. That looks so delicious. You're making me hungry, okay?
Yum, yum,
So
yum.
good.
Hello.
Okay,
Are you hungry?
I'm very hungry, thanks to you. I want to know how in the world you've got a TV show, you've got your own podcast, you are World Central Kitchen, you have a Michelin star restaurant. How do you keep up the energy for all of this? Because the demand for you is so high. How do you keep yourself going? What energizes you? Tell us your secret.
Well, my wife, big way.
Good answer.
My daughters, big way. Guy like Carlos, big way. But at the end, I love to be part of this human village we are, right? We all make each other better. Everybody contributes their part. I love cooking. I love sharing cooking stories and even better dishes with people. People I know, people I just met. For me, one of the most unique things in America is Thanksgiving. I'm the biggest Thanksgiving celebrator in the history of mankind.
Really?
Anything is building longer tables is a good thing. What keeps me going is use these, especially we began talking on the podcast about the emergencies, that in the worst moments of humanity, the best of humanity shows up. And this really keeps me going. I'm a I don't think I'm a cook more than I'm a storyteller, but because you can tell stories for books, you can tell us, which I have, but you can tell, but I'm not a book writer per se. Even you can say I'm a book author. You can tell stories through painting. You can tell stories through sculpture. You can tell stories through any form of art. You can tell stories through food. Croquetas is my story. The paella is my story. Empanadillas is my story. Tortilla española is my story. Look at this tortilla, lady.
That's beautiful.
Take a look at this tortilla. Oh my God.
It's perfect.
And you can cook it more, but I like it like this. Like the egg is slightly undercooked.
So good.
Look at the paella. It's still, I don't think we're going to have time before you cut me off.
No, you're...
Yeah, but you can see the rice is reducing. This has 7 more minutes to go.
Wow.
But take a look. Now I can add some broccoli on top because the broccoli needs less cooking than everything else. And put it on top, and then it's going to be florets of broccoli. You can make it your own, obviously, as I said before. And this is what I like. What keeps me going is because food connects people. Market like Mariano connects people. Because every time you open a bottle of wine from a place near home, can be a wine from upstate New York or wine from California or Virginia. Even in America, that's opening a window into another place, even if it's close to home. When you open a bottle of wine of Spain, you're opening a window into that faraway place with people that are pouring love into making the best product so you can enjoy it at home. So for me, food, wine, a table is the best way to connect people around the world. That's what keeps me going.
Well, can I say thank you for all you do? I'm just amazed at how you never seem to stop. I just want to know, what are the big holiday plans, and is there anything coming up in the future you want to share with us?
Well, I also have chocolate, José Andrés chocolate. Oh, yeah. I also have a line of cans, sardines,
yes,
octopus, mussels.
Wow.
We call it fish snacks.
Fish snacks.
I also have a line of broth, different seafood broth for your favorite recipes. You can make paella, obviously, but you can use it for anything else to make a soup. You add some mussels here and some rice. You have the best mussel seafood soup in the history of mankind. So this is what keeps me going. So this Christmas, I'm going to be here one more week or two. But many Christmas, I go back to Spain to celebrate with my wife family in the south. do big fires every night, put big terracotta pots, and then just cook all night long, every day around a fire, singing. I love Christmas. I love singing, and I love Christmas carols. And I love especially used to be with family, cooking and celebrating life and one more year. And obviously, if you are a Catholic boy like me, we're celebrating the born and the Jesus born. But at the same time, I realize I have many friends from different faiths, others that don't have faith, but that I only realize that we all love to celebrate learning from each other around a table where everybody brings who they are and they enrich you because they share with you who they are through their stories. And this is how the world becomes a better place.
Well, keep on doing what you're doing, Jose. Merry Christmas to you, and I cannot
Happy
wait
holidays.
to try the paella.
Paella is getting ready. I'll send it to you.
Please
It's
send
on the way to Chicago.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Take care. This podcast is produced by Jenny Waters, original audio and music editing, Donnie Cuddy, social media and promotions, Ileana Blaisdell.